Hey guys, Nathan here from RunDNA and welcome to our YouTube platform. There was a bit of a debate around the office about which shoe we'd use for our first video, and we decided to review the ON CloudBoom Zone. We saw this one drop on ON's online website and thought it'd be a really good opportunity to jump on here and have a chat about the shoe because there's not a lot of information around it. We're really lucky to get gifted a pair of these on our recent trip to Zurich, where we headed over with 3 other run retailers to spend the week with On, having a chat to their team, how they research and develop footwear. And over there, they gifted us a pair, which is really cool to get some runs in over there. But I've also been using this quite a bit in my own training here in Adelaide. So I feel I can give you a bit of an idea of where this shoe sits. So let's get stuck in. So what is the CloudBoom Zone all about? On are pitching this as their interval speed day shoe. So when you want to run a bit quicker. We've seen this on a lot of the feet of the OAC On athletes and they seem to have really good feedback. So we're really wondering when it was going to land, and seeing it pop up on the On website is really exciting. Been really cool to be gifted a pair while we're away, and how I've been using it is been a shoe that I've been using for my interval sessions during the week. I think it's really nice on the road, but I also think it's really good on some light trails and dirt where we're doing a lot of training here in Adelaide on the uni loop. And it sort of holds up really well on that surface. I can also see a lot of people using this as a track workout shoe as well, just being a little bit lower profile, snappy feel. So yeah, it's a really nice addition to their lineup. Let's get stuck into some of the tech features. We're going to start with upper, midsole, and then talk about the outsole. All right, jumping up to the upper. When I first saw this shoe, the first shoe that it reminded me of was the CloudBoom 3 that On released a couple of years ago. This upper has a very similar appearance to me. It's a one-piece upper, so it's quite simple. They've got some nice little breathability zones through the midfoot and also through the forefoot, just to make it lightweight and breathable. But overall, it's quite simple, which is good. Around the heel collar, it's also quite minimal. They have some little extra little pods, I guess, through the back here that just provide a little bit of extra comfort, but quite minimal in terms of the structure around there. What I do really like is the midfoot area. This is a gusseted tongue, so you get a really nice, secure fit across the midfoot. The tongue padding, I think they've really nailed as well. It's not too thick and it's not too thin. Sometimes with these sort of speed shoes, you don't want to over-engineer them and make them too padded up top, which adds extra weight. I feel like they've done the right amount of padding through there. The laces are also an interesting feature. These are textured, so I've had no troubles with them coming undone. And I feel like when I lace this up, I get a really nice hold across the midfoot, which is really good for a shoe like this when you're going to be running a bit quicker, you're going to be going quick around corners, taking the bends on the track, so you want to be held on top of that platform. And I think On have done a really good job with that one. All right, jumping down to the most exciting part of any shoe review, the midsole. So On are using their Helion HF foam, which is their most premium PEBA-based race foam. And this is a similar foam that we see in the CloudBoom Strike. The point of difference with this one as well is it is a little bit lower profile, a little bit lower stack. So this is sitting at 34 mil at the back of the shoe for a 6 mil drop. So it's relatively low stack these days when we're seeing a lot of shoes going up, sort of upwards of the 40 mil in some of the super trainers. So it is a more traditional feel, a lower profile feel and a firmer feel, which I actually really appreciate. Where we do a lot of training here in Adelaide is on the dirt, and I feel like it's a nice complementing to that sort of terrain, that you get the softness, but it's also really snappy and responsive when you want to pick up the pace too. It's also got quite a bit of guts. I was expecting a shoe that is relatively low stack to not have much through the forefoot, but I did notice that it actually is quite gutsy through there, and it has a really nice rocker through the forefoot. So it's quite unique for a shoe that is lower profile like this to have that gutsier feel, and you certainly get it from this shoe. Another interesting feature with this one is it's got the speed board through the midfoot here, so this is almost acting like a shank, and it's about the size of a credit card, so it sort of runs through that midfoot area. So you do have a little bit of stiffness, so it's not super flexible, but it's not super stiff like your super shoe, race shoe, like you see in the CloudBoom Strike. So it does give you a little bit more of a traditional feel and more flexible feel. So if you're someone that doesn't really tolerate a really highly cushioned, a really stiff super shoe, the Boom Zone does have that sort of point of difference for you to have a look at. All right, jumping underneath the shoe to the outsole, and often an overlooked part of a race shoe or a speedier shoe is the outsole, but this is probably one of my favorite features. Couple of reasons. One, it's got a really generous coverage through the forefoot, so it does provide that extra stiffness up front. It's also got a nice sort of crash pad area if you land a little bit further back. The main benefit I've found with this outsole is that it gives it really, really good durability. So I've done about 70 to 80 Ks in this shoe, mixture of sort of road, but predominantly on like the Uni Loop in Adelaide here, which is a light trail. And this shoe has shown pretty much no signs of wear, which is a really big kudos to On, because a shoe that's sort of in that speedier category don't tend to have the durability, and they do get chewed up on that sort of terrain. But this is basically, yeah, held up really, really well. But the trade-off with that is it does make the shoe a little bit bottom heavy. I found it feels like the weight is sitting a lot underneath the foot in terms of the midsole outsole, given the upper is so lightweight and minimal. But that's okay, it's a training shoe. I'm willing to get the benefits of the extra durability for that sort of weight distribution. And wrapping up to some similar shoes to the CloudBoom Zone, one that pops to mind is the Saucony Endorphin Speed. That also has that sort of plate with a bit of flexibility. The other one that pops to mind is the New Balance Supercomp Pacer, which is carbon plated, but it does sit on that lower stack height of about 36 mil from memory. So it has that sort of lower profile feel, but it does have a lot stiffer feel than what the Zone does offer. Probably the most obvious question is, how does the Zone compare to the CloudBoom Strike? So this is going to design to complement the CloudBoom Strike. It is a bit lighter than what we're seeing with the Strike. This one sits at 232 grams for a men's 9.5, but it is less shoe on foot. Like, you are sitting on a lower profile shoe with less stack height versus you're up on that sort of 40 mil limit with the CloudBoom Strike. Underfoot, they do have quite a different feel. The Strike's definitely a softer, bouncier feel, so especially a bit more marathon specific, whereas the Zone's going to be that sort of shorter interval track workout training version, I guess you could put it. On have even called out at the back of this shoe here with the 99. This is 99% designed for training, 1% racing, whereas the CloudBoom Strike is your all-out racer. The interesting feature with the CloudBoom Strike as well, does have that drop-in insole, which is obviously very unique to that shoe, and both of them feature a very lightweight performance upper. There you have it, guys. There is our take on the On CloudBoom Zone. Now, unfortunately, this one will not be landing at any Run specialty retailer stores in Australia, but if you do want to get your hands on it, jump onto the On Running website where they have stock available to purchase. Thanks so much for joining us for our first RunDNA video. If you've got any questions or comments about this shoe, feel free to drop them in the comments below. And if you're interested in seeing more content like this, feel free to subscribe to us. In the meantime, enjoy your running.